inverters? Or
Master will always carry the highest, then give the other man to the slave.
you can take, for example, can you give any example?
Like example now, if you do installation of let's 8 kVA like you said, right?
Yeah.
And let's say the total load is because if the total load is 8 kVA, don't give it 8 kVA. Hmm?
Yeah.
If the total load is let's say 6 kVA, Shebi,
Yeah.
and the inverter we are using is wants to use 8 kVA inverter, right? And we are using 4 kVA. Until the master is filled, or almost about to, you will not share to slave. So the master carry the highest load than slave. That 8 kVA inverter, the master inverter will collect up to like 5 kVA. Then 4 kVA, right?
Yeah.
The master will collect up to like 3 kVA. If it's 6 or 3 point something, they will now share the remaining one to the slave.
Okay. So why is it like, why should you do that? Why is it necessary to do that?
To do the connection,
Like to give the master higher than the slave.
The settings, you'll be the one to set it. You set the inverter telling these people that this man should be the master, then this one here should be what? The slave. So then now that's the reason why I'm advising that it should be 4 kVA.
But like, I want to understand why you choose to suffer one.
How do you suffer? What are you suffering? You're not suffering anybody. You're just the reason why there is master and there is slave is because some people can still do parallel of 10 different inverters. Do you understand? You can parallel 10 inverters and it will still work as one. But the man that will be controlling the rest of other ones will be the one that is called the master. Anything he carries, you cannot separate the loads to other people.
So what is an advantage of parallel inverter?
One of the most advantage I can take for that one, the only advantage I can tell you is that it helps to first, let's say the best way I do mine, I do separation of load.
Yeah.
But the advantage I can give now is that let's say the inverter you want to use is supposed to use one of the inverter like 8 kVA. You now decided to use 2 to give it that same 8 kVA. Okay? One of the advantage I can give you is that sharing of load between inverters, because you can always that master now can still switch. Maybe when the other man is having faults. Do you understand? Like let's take example now. Somebody wants to install inverter of let's say 10 kVA inverter, and the person now do separation of load. They do 5 kVA, all the bulbs, all the TV put for one of the 5 kVA. Then all the AC put inside one of the 5 kVA. Do you understand? You did separation of load now.
Yeah.
It's 10 kVA as the total load, right? But you now did separation of load. Why? One of the advantage of doing that one, in case any of the inverter has fault, example maybe in hotels, because if you tell a client not to on AC, and you are not there to regulate it, telling the person don't on or you on AC, you know that he will go and on AC, and maybe when one of those inverters have fault, the only inverter that will be affected will be those ones that carry AC. But all the bulbs will be on because that inverter is still on. Do you understand this analogy I give to you? I did separation of load. Get it now. This is 10 kVA inverter. I'm supposed to use one, right? To power a house. And with this 10 kVA, it will carry my bulb, it will carry my fan, it will carry my what? TV. That 10 kVA. And it will power the whole of my house. Right? Fine. Now, let's say there is thunderstorm. And that thunderstorm affected this inverter. Or let's say somebody in the room, you told them that they should not always on all the things at the same time. Eh? Or let's say they on all the things at the same time, but somebody now brought extra load. They brought extra load that it was not even inclusive in this 10 kVA, and it now made the inverter to burn. Eh?
Yeah.
Do you understand? If that inverter burn, do you know that the whole of this apartment will not be having light? Because what? The inverter got burned, right?
Yeah.
Right. But let's say when I got to the house, I found out that this person gets stubborn-head children. I checked the children, they stubborn, and some of them don't be stubborn. Yeah? And like this, okay, let me just give you an analogy before I go back. There's somebody in Abakaliki. Eh? I told you about that man where I quarrel in children. Where? He is currently calling me now for a job to go and check his inverter. I did separation of load in that house. All the DC to one side, all the AC to one side. And the AC I use is just TV and fan. Then I separated the this what they call it, is normal AC in the house. I separated it and didn't put it in the inverter. But do you know that these children now went and used blender? And I told them that this thing should only be for what? TV and fan. No other thing should be used here. Are you getting what I'm saying? Then now, since I don't isolate the AC now, and I don't isolate the blender too, the socket that was used for the blender, I don't isolate that too. Then now I remove it, went to where the inverter is connected to. Connect the blender. Everything now. Because the inverter was not up to 4,000, it's 2,000 watts inverter. Do you understand? So did you get what really happened there? They have now burned the inverter, right? The whole of that house will not be having light for AC load. But all the DC loads will be on. Because I did what? Load separation. Do you understand? So coming back to this particular thing, this house was supposed to be powered by what? One of the inverter, right? Which is 10 kVA. But what you now did is what? You separated the load. You gave 5 kVA. You carry all the bulb and TV. Put here. All the AC. Put here. The same house. Do you understand? So if anything tampers with one of these inverter, this one can always be on. If this one tampers, this one can always be served. Do you understand? That's one of the advantages of load separation when doing it with two different inverters. Now, if you are using two separate inverters for that particular one I talked about, when we are using hybrids to do that 10 kVA, right? To do the connection. Now, we did not do load separation here. We did not do load separation. The only thing we did here was to connect the two inverters in parallel to have the same what? 10 kVA.
But I want to ask something. This load separation, this load separation, will you still connect the two inverters together like parallel, or you connect it different?
When you do load separation, you connect everything different.
You will not join the two inverters together.
The only thing that can make you join the two inverters is when you want to do this parallel connection.
And that one, all the load will be the same.
All the load will be the same. Do you understand? Yeah. So now, when you do these two different inverters, you now connect them in parallel. They will now give you what? 10 kVA, right? Now, one of the advantage you can get with this is whenever any of this man have fault, the first thing is you can still be using this one, but this man now will be having an indication that there is fault. Do you get? What you now do is you now go and do the load separate. You now off some load so as to power this man now can power it. Do you understand? So the only advantage is maybe when there is fault. Because if you're supposed to use one inverter for 10 kVA and now you did the separation of using 2 inverters. Another thing, maybe load. You carry the load of you carrying 10 kVA up and the load of carrying 5 kVA no be the same. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So sir, in essence now, the only advantage that I figured out from what you said is, since we are using 10 kVA, it's going to get damaged entirely. But since we are using 5 kVA, only one will get damaged to reduce cost of repair.
Repairs and all of those things.
Okay.
That's one of the
Okay, I still have question.
Alright.
Like concerning those loading in parallel inverter. Now,
It's on this.
will you join the whole loads? Will you join the whole loads to one, then loop it to one?
All of okay, like the connection.
Yeah.
That's the reason why we did 2 inverters.
Okay.
2 inverters. Now, okay, we have not gone to field to see. There's something they call um battery connectors. This man now, one of the advantage by which there are people that does installation of battery. They do installation of batteries, lithium batteries, and this is 2 batteries. They just connect common to common.
Yeah.
They use common here to this common, positive to positive, negative to negative, and this battery now will be 1. Then they will not take only this one now to your inverter. Like this now. These 2 batteries will be working as 1 battery, but it will be light. The inverter will be tapping light from this one. Do you understand? You don't understand?
I understand what you're saying.
Okay, you understand, Abi? Fine. If during charging, this man now can still charge this one and it will be charging this one. Do you understand? But one of the disadvantage of doing this particular thing, by which I don't do. I don't what? Do. One of the disadvantage you get is that this man will be working too much than this one. Do you understand? This man now will be draining. This one can drain up to 40 something volts, while this man here now can still be around that 50 something. Do you understand?
So you're advising we don't connect in parallel at all?
When connecting all of these things in parallel, the best way I can tell you to do is, you see this connector box. There is a line here for positive terminals. There is another line here for negative terminals. So all your batteries, if you're using 2 batteries, you're using 3 batteries, connect all the positive to your positive terminal. Connect all the negative to your negative terminal. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Okay, simply forming a load.
Yeah. God bless you. Do you understand now? After connecting all of it now, then this is my inverter. It can be 2 inverters. It can be 100 inverter. The only thing you need to do now is to carry your negative, your positive to positive, positive to positive, negative to negative, negative to negative. Do you understand? Even if it's parallel, all of them will be working perfectly very well. Nobody will be overstressed. You can now loop these 2 persons and do the parallel connection. Do this man master and this one slave. Nobody will be overstressed. The only thing here is that this master will always indicate as your master. This one now will be what? Slave. And their master will always carry more a bit load, small, higher a bit than what? The slave. Do you get? but tapping from the battery will be the same. The battery will be supplying what?